Hi, this is Mark Weitzman. So I want to continue with the what's called hyperbolic motion. And there are various ways you could derive this, including brute force and everything, which is sort of what we did in the first video. At least we verified it. But I want to use some covariant methods. It's actually not that hard. So if you recall from the four velocity, u alpha is defined to be dx alpha d tau. Tau is proper time. And the four acceleration, a alpha, is defined to be the derivative of the four acceleration with respect to proper time. Okay. And these have the property that u alpha, which is just u dot u, is equal to 1 in a metric. We're using the 1 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 Minkowski metric. And the so this is 1, and you can see that because it's just going to be dt squared minus dx squared minus dy squared minus dz squared over d tau squared, but that's the definition of d tau squared, so it's just 1. And then we have our next fact is that u alpha, a alpha is equal to 0, or, you know, this is the same thing as u dot a. And this is easy to prove because since u dot u is 1, just take the derivative of this, dd tau u dot u is equal to dd tau of 1, which is equal to 0, but it's also equal to u dot du d tau plus du d tau dot u, which is equal to 2u du d tau, which is equal to 2u dot a. That's what I wanted to show. So we have this fact, and let's look at it in a reference frame. If we're looking in a co-moving reference frame, then u is equal to 1, 0, 0, 0. That is, a co-moving reference frame is sort of defined by the time is going to be the proper time and the coordinates of the particle is at rest. So A in a co-moving reference frame has to be orthogonal to this. So the first component has to be equal to 0. And the other components, well, if we're working in one dimension in x, so the y and the z's will be 0, we'll call this ax. Actually, I'm going to call that g. And now we can write a covariant statement, which will be true for anything. A dot A is equal to minus g squared. So we now have 3 algebraic equations. I'll write them again. U dot u equal 1, u dot a equals 0, a dot a equal minus g squared. And using these algebraic equations, we can get some easy differential equations, which I'll show how, and they're trivial to solve. So let me go over here. So I'll start writing components on these things. So I have u0 squared minus u1 squared equal 1. That was the first equation over there. And then u0 A0 minus U1 A1 equals 0. That's the second equation. And then A0 squared minus A1 squared equals minus G squared. Okay. So in this equation, let me just substitute from this equation. And I'm going to get A0 squared minus A1 is U0 over U1 A0. So it's this squared equal minus G squared. And we also have this relationship. So I have A0 squared times 1 minus U0 over U1 squared equals minus G squared. If I divide this by U1 squared, I get, okay, well, let me just do it explicitly. So I have A0 squared times, let's put this U1 squared. I now have U1 squared minus U0 squared, which is equal to minus 1. Sorry, it's equal to minus G squared. So I have A0 squared equal U1 squared G squared. Take the square root. Everything's moving to the right and positive, otherwise we'll get different signs. A0 is equal to G U1. So that's the first key equation we need. And notice what this says. This says that du0 d tau is equal to G U1. Now, I can now just go back to this equation. I have A1 is equal to U0 over U1 A0, which is substituting the A0 there. I'm just going to get G U0. So this is our second equation. And this one, if we write out, we just get du1 d tau equal G U0. So looking at these two, this is a set of first order coupled differential equations, and it's pretty easy to solve. I'm going to over here I'll take the derivative of this, so I'll get the second derivative d2u0 d tau 2 is equal to G times du1 d tau, which is G U0. So I'm just going to get G squared U0. So this is just the second derivative of a function is a constant times that function. The solutions are exponential or hyperbolic functions. In this case, I'm going to write the solution U0 is equal to hyperbolic cosine G tau. And I'm leaving out the hyperbolic sine term because when I take the derivative of this, I'm going to get the hyperbolic sine, and I want the, well, first of all, when tau is 0, I mean, U0 is going to be some number, and the sinh won't add to that. But I want the velocity to be 0 at time t equals 0. So our initial conditions, I should write t equal tau equals 0. The particle is at rest. And so U1 is equal to 0. And so this is what I want to have satisfied, and this satisfies that. And now by the way, U0 is the definition of dt d tau. So we can write dt d tau equal to gauche hyperbolic cosine g tau. And we can integrate this directly. So we can get the time coordinate. T is 1 over g hyperbolic sine g tau plus a constant. But again, when tau equals 0, we want t equals 0. So this constant is 0. So we don't need that. And let's go back. We have, now we can use this equation. du1 d tau. I'm not sure if I want to use that one. Well, I'm just going to write down the solution. Let me just erase that. Using the other differential equation will eventually lead to x equals 1 over g hyperbolic cosine g tau plus a constant, and that constant is going to be minus 1 over g. Because when tau is 0, this is 1, and we want x to be equal to x equals 0 and dx d tau equals 0. So this is our solution for t. This is our solution for x. And now you can see that these things satisfy x plus 1 over g squared, just using the identity, the hyperbolic cosine squared minus the hyperbolic sine squared equals 1. We get x plus 1 over g squared minus t squared is equal to 1 over g squared. And solving this, we get x is equal to the square root of t squared plus 1 over g squared. And then outside of this, I'll just continue it on here, minus 1 over g. So this is what we had in the in our initial video when we make the substitution 1 over g for b using c equal 1. So this is the I think one of the easiest way to get the hyperbolic motion, and it has the advantages of giving you x and t in terms of the proper time of the particle. So you get a parameterization that's very useful parameterization. So I will resume doing some problems in the next video. Thank you very much.